Hi, this is Neil, and behind me we have an Electra Townie pedal bicycle. And I'm going to turn this Electra Townie pedal bicycle into this sweet e-bike conversion using the Bafang BBS-02 conversion kit. Alright, let's do a little bit of unboxing. We all love unboxing videos, don't we? For some strange reason or another. We just like to see things. We like to see the reveal. Alright. And inside the big box, we have more small boxes. I have done this conversion before, so I have a good idea of what to expect. So this says Bafang, which I'm pretty sure that is the actual motor. Oops, nice. I like how these boxes gonna make it easy to break down. Okay, so this is indeed the motor. So here is this is a tool. This is the motor locking tool. You lock it into place on the frame, some zip ties. Here, more pieces to lock the motor in place in the bottom bracket. Looks like this is a crank set. Oh, and then here, this is the actual motor itself. This is the Bafang BBS-02 conversion kit. Basically, you take apart the bottom bracket from your old bicycle, and then this replaces it. This just goes in the bottom bracket. The motor powers the crankset, and that's basically how it goes. And the attached wiring. This is a headlight. This is the throttle. So this will clip into place on the handlebars, and there's your throttle. This is the crank removal tool. This is how you remove the cranks, the crank arms, which are these things, from your old bike. This is the bottom bracket removal tool, in case you don't already have one. And then this is the speed sensor that detects how fast you're traveling. Okay, so let's see if we can put this away. I'm gonna guess this box here is the battery. But again, because we like to see packages unpacked, I'm gonna unbox it for you. And indeed, this is a battery. This is in case you need to wire in case for some reason the motor wiring harness, in case you need to wire in a different harness, it comes with an extra thing. So here's the actual battery, which is 36 volts, 15.6 amps. So it's a pretty small battery. I'm not trying to go really fast. So a mounting kit, some keys to keep the battery locked in place. I'm going to guess this other box here is the wiring kit, or maybe the charger. This is the charger for the battery. Cool. All right, what do we got in here? Okay, so this is a, gosh, what do you call that? Chain ring, maybe? This is the chain ring protector. This is a 44 tooth chain ring. Ooh. Looks like a brake light. I don't remember ordering that, but like a brake light. So when I hit the brakes, this will illuminate. So these are the brake levers. The first conversion I did, I didn't replace the levers, I just got sensors. And basically the idea is when you're squeezing the brake, that it cuts power to the motor. And then this, I believe this is going to be the display. It is based on the insert there. This is the color display, which is Yep, it's a neat little color LED display, which is how you turn the bike on and off and turn on the lights and adjust the like the pedal assist level. Okay, so I believe everything is accounted for. I bought the kit off of Amazon. It is the Bafang BBS-02 conversion kit. I pretty much did the most economical options aside from the LED control panel. I think that was $4 extra. I believe the entire kit cost me somewhere around $600. I'll link it in the description below, and that's pretty much it. So let's go ahead and get to installing. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is disassemble the driveline, which means this whole, all these components here. The pedals, the cranks, the bottom bracket, this chainring. I basically got to get all that unassembled so that I can put the motor in here. On the left side of the bike here, this side is going to be reverse threaded, which means it's going to be opposite of the way you normally tighten and loosen a regular screw. One good tip that I use to remind myself is, if you think about the motion of each revolution as you're pedaling forward, as you're going, that's going to be the way it's going to tighten. On the left side of the bike, as you're pedaling, you can see that it's naturally going clockwise, which means tightening is going to be clockwise. So, you know, as you're pedaling, it should be tightening with every revolution. Versus on the right side of the bike, as you're pedaling, it's going to be regular threaded, which means it's tightening with every revolution that you're pedaling. So that's just kind of a little tip that I use to remember things are reverse threaded. That could potentially trip you up if you're working on a bike and removing the bottom bracket. All right, so just a quick update. I was incorrect. Initially I said everything on the right side of the bike is going to be regular threaded, which means righty tighty lefty loosey, but that is incorrect. So for the bottom bracket is reverse threaded. So here I'm getting it loose, and so if you can see, I'm actually turning it right and it's loosening this bottom bracket. So yeah, so this might be a little easier than anticipated. Oop. And there we go, and it's out. Okay, and another update, just for integrity's sake. On the other side of the bottom bracket, they have this other sleeve, which I don't know what it is, but this is also regular threaded, so lefty loosey, and it comes out. This is just this other sleeve that goes on this part of the this whole bottom bracket. So I could have swore on one of my other bikes this is reverse threaded, but so I don't know what I'm telling you. Basically what I'm saying is, if you're having trouble getting it off one way, then try the other way. So the motor just will go in this way, and then we lock it into place, and then it's pretty straightforward from there. All right, I'm just gonna give you a quick update on the progress. So I do have the motor installed, I have the cranks installed, I have the pedals installed, and that's pretty much the most difficult part. We're just gonna make sure everything is wired up correctly. Okay, you can see it's on. Let's put pedal assist 3, since that's basically where it's gonna be, 3. Now, let's hit the throttle cable. Okay, now that's a win. I'm just gonna continue to wire up the rest of it and button everything up. One very important thing I did not mention is mounting the battery. So typically the batteries are designed so you can mount them where the water bottle is mounted. So you undo where the water bottle holder would be, and that's where you would mount the battery. This is probably the most important thing when it comes to choosing a donor bike, is where you're gonna mount the battery. Okay, well, that's pretty much it. Starting here at the motor, here's the motor.
It just replaces the bottom bracket crankset. This is where the motor is. It uses a standard chain. This is the speed sensor right here, and there is a magnet on one of the spokes, so every time it passes the speed sensor, that's how it knows how fast you're going. Routing the wires up here, I showed you how I mounted the battery. Mounting the wires up here. Here, these are brake levers, which every time you engage the brakes, it cuts the power. I did the upgraded display, so it's a color LED display. Here's the control panel, which you can turn on and off features and set the pedal assist level from 0 to 5. It came with an included headlight, which I mounted there, and the brake light, which is not included, but I guess they gave it to me for free, so that's pretty sweet. There's the build.
Alright, we're out taking the bikes for a stroll. This bike actually has a lot of pickup. I'm kind of scared filming and riding, but I got it up to like 20 miles an hour. This bike doesn't have suspension, so it's a little rough ride, so you got to be really careful about riding one-handed and hitting cracks in the road. Come on, Bafang BBS-02, you can do it, make it up the hill. And the fat tire bike that Angie's got is a lot faster. Alright, just completed the maiden voyage of the e-bike conversion kit, and I must say that I'm quite pleased. I'm happy with it. You might be asking yourself, why wouldn't I just spend a little extra and get a pre-built bike versus buying a kit for close to $600 and then doing all the work to convert the bike? And you're right, I could have done that and bought a pre-built bike, which we even have a couple of pre-built fat tire e-bikes. But the problem is transporting them, because sometimes we want to bike ride somewhere outside of our neighborhood or our surrounding neighborhoods. And the problem is transporting those bikes. And they're really heavy. They're almost 100 pounds each. And so I don't have a bike rack that can support that kind of weight. I don't have a pickup truck. We don't have a van or anything to transport them out. So that's one of the challenges. And so with these e-bike conversions, they're usually built on a smaller frame, and they're a little easier to transport. You can take off the battery, and the only extra added weight is really the motor, which is, I don't know, maybe 15, 20 pounds. And so I believe my bike rack could handle those. And plus they're easy to maneuver. I could take off the front tire and I could just put it in the back of our Subaru and transport them. Two is I already had a good donor bike to make into an e-bike conversion, so it was kind of a no-brainer. And third, if you're like me and you like to tinker with things, these e-bike conversions are a fun little project. So hopefully this video helps you out if you are thinking about doing one of these kind of conversions. And if at the very least, I hope it was an entertaining video. So if you made it this far in the video, thanks for watching. I just like to make videos, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.